products cure the disease alopecia? This question has, of course, been triggered by the recent incident at the Oscar Awards, where comedian Chris Rock joked about actress Jada Pinkett Smith's hair. To help us understand this, we're now joined by the founder of hair care brand AfroBotanics, Ntombenhle Khathwane. Thank you very much for your time, Ntombenhle. And it's a very sensitive topic to be discussing, particularly for women who will always celebrate their hair, which is always described as the crown. Before we get into the treatment of this, let's talk about what exactly alopecia is.
Alopecia, in the understanding, the scientific community, is understood as an autoimmune illness, disease, whereby the body starts attacking itself. And what we've come to understand and approach alopecia is understanding that as a human being, we have different spheres of being. You've got your physical self, you've got your emotional self, and your spiritual self. And most times when we're talking about disease, we're looking at just the physical manifestation, the physical symptoms. And holistically nowadays, when we're talking about dealing with any disease, you have to look at what is the emotional cause, the spiritual cause, and then the physical outcome of it. Because it's known now that before a disease actually manifests physically, it starts occurring in the spiritual and emotional. So basically, your spiritual well-being, your emotional well-being, in most cases, is what causes your physical diseases. And it's the same thing for alopecia. Alopecia, what happens is that your thyroid, where hormones are produced, stops working and is unable to produce hormones that help you to digest and absorb a lot of nutrients. And it shuts off all the nutrients and the plugs that are supposed to absorb nutrients that go and support your hair. So you're not able to absorb the potassium you need, the iron you need, the magnesium you need, in order for your hair follicles to be healthy. And the main cause of that is basically, in a spiritual and emotional sense, is someone who's gone through a lot of trauma, is angry, has experienced the rejection of love, and therefore is rejecting self and is rejecting love from many other people. And so that's why a lot of times, a lot of people cannot cure or treat alopecia, because we're not looking at the emotional or spiritual causes of it. And so as a company, we're trying to advocate for well-being, beauty, personal care that is all about the well-being of a person, because beauty and feeling good comes from your emotional and spiritual self before it manifests physically.
Yeah, and for those of us who haven't been able to manifest all of the components that you've just spoken about in terms of having a healthy hair growth and just overall wellness, what do we do to treat it? Do we have products, as I asked in my intro, that can actually assist with the treatment of the condition?
So the condition is more an inside-out thing. So yes, you have products that you can apply, but most products won't be able to penetrate the hair follicles because they close from the inside. They won't be able to penetrate the hair follicles from the inside to give them the rejuvenation and the nutrition that they need. And in truth, Cece, most of us are not eating balanced diets. We're not eating all of the nutrients that we need. So the most important thing is for us to go on a very healthy diet where we're eating a range of, all of the colors in terms of your veggies, your fruits, taking in the extra minerals, a very, very good multi-mineral that has a potassium base, because the one thing that helps hair to regrow is potassium. And so, for example, at AfroBotanics, we have a potassium-based hair growth oil now that we are seeing a lot of difference in people who are using it, but are also getting the assistance through therapy as well to deal with the other aspects that are causing their body to act against them. Basically, your body is rejecting you. So it becomes a holistic approach. If you don't deal with the other aspects, you can rub all you want. You can go on the expensive surgical things that, where they actually reopen your hair follicles and plant hair follicles if you want. But it's better for me, in our opinion, to rather deal with it holistically, use a Potamia-based hair food or hair growth oil, and feed your body, really nourish it from the inside out, and nourish your heart, your mind, and your soul.
No, absolutely. And then just based on your engagement and your experience within the industry, have you found that there's enough awareness about conditions of this nature and women learning and dealing with it as best as they can?
In fact, there isn't, because, for example, as a woman hits 35, we start hitting menopause, for example, right? So as you're hitting menopause, it means that your body is no longer able to absorb some nutrients at a faster rate than it used to. It's producing less hormones or more hormones. So, you know, our hormonal structure as women affects the quality of our hair. For example, you might be a 16-year-old and you might have been 16 and had like huge amounts and volumes of hair, and then you hit 35, 40 and your hair starts to thin out. And it might not be alopecia, but it just might be the fact that you're not eating and absorbing enough nutrients. And unfortunately, malnutrition, the lack of nutrients that we absorb, most of the time, we see the impact of not eating enough nutrients much later in life. It's not an immediate response kind of a thing. So there's a really important effort that we have to make to educate everyone that eating well is important for your well-being throughout of your life. And you may feel like you look good, you have enough energy levels at 25, but if you're not eating enough nutrients at 45, your body will start showing it and feeling it. And you might even start experiencing it through the quality of your skin, your hair, your teeth, and your bones. Yeah. So it's very important to take care of yourselves.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for those insights. And Ntombenhle Khathwane, the founder and the chief executive of AfroBotanics, breaking down the condition alopecia and the kind of treatment that is available out there, obviously indicating that it all starts within. A whole sense of wellness is very important when it comes to conditions of this nature.